Hello everybody, how are you doing? Welcome to today's episode of the vlog. My name is Shaun. I am a YouTuber from Edinburgh in Scotland, but today I am in New York City. Can you hear that noise? Trucks, police sirens, fire trucks, ambulances, just goes off 24/7 here in New York. But I love it. I absolutely love New York City. I think you can tell from my first video here the other day when we arrived that I was just absolutely head over heels for New York City. I cannot believe we are back in New York City. So I've been here for a week now, and over the last year and a half I have been here a total of 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my 5th time in New York City in the last year and a half. I have fallen big time for this city. I love it. And I wanted to tell you about my experiences in today's video as a Scottish guy travelling in this big, scary new city. So welcome everybody, thanks very much for joining in. If you're new here, remember to hit that subscribe button down below so you can keep in touch with all of my content from now on. So I guess my observations are going to be a little bit interesting, right? Because not only I'm from Scotland, which is obviously a tiny wee country with tiny wee cities compared to what you guys have here in the States, but I've also lived in London for 4 or 5 years, so I've got a couple of benchmarks, right? I've not really travelled around the United States that much. I've got a lot of travelling around the States to do. And I think London is probably the most relevant comparison that I have. But as a Scottish guy who's born and bred in Edinburgh, a wee tiny wee city, my first impressions of this place were, wow, it is a lot of information. Bright lights, noise, all kinds of noise all the way around. Like it's just like a surround sound system the whole time of the noise of people, cars and other vehicles, buses and trucks, and my god, people here like to beep their horns. People just beep their horns here for anything and everything. Like, they don't even need a reason to beep their horns, they just beep all the time. And it is a madness, but you know what, you get used to it. My first days here in New York were a little bit challenging on the kind of noise front. It was a little bit overwhelming. I felt like I was in a pressure cooker. And I'd certainly say this about Manhattan. Manhattan in particular is a pressure cooker. The thing about, and here's a big difference with London. I lived in London, and it's a big city as well with a similar population to New York City, right? But in London you've got a lot more land mass. It's a wider area spread out over. And so a lot of the buildings are much shorter, 3 or 4 stories, but here in New York they haven't got much space because Manhattan is a very narrow, very small actually, island with a lot of people who live in it, so the buildings are all so high. So when you're on Manhattan, I definitely got the feeling that I was on a pressure cooker that was impossible to escape. And at first that was certainly unnerving. The first few trips here, I kind of didn't get used to that feeling of being overwhelmed on Manhattan. But you do get into the rhythm of New York, and I think that is one of the benefits absolutely of staying here in Brooklyn, because it's more like London. The buildings are shorter, 4, 5, 6 stories, and there's a bit more space to breathe here. Absolutely, like I'm here in Red Hook and there's plenty of space, not so much noise, lots of fresh air coming in off the ocean. It's great, I love Brooklyn. And I think that's probably one thing I would recommend people is to consider Brooklyn if you don't like such hectic busyness, because we are so close here to Manhattan. In fact, you can just hop on the ferry and get yourself over there within about 20 minutes, half an hour. But here we have got a bit more peace and quiet. And also guys, listen, Scotland is the home, the original home of tall buildings. We were the first people in the world in Scotland, in Edinburgh I believe, to have high-rise story buildings, 4, 5, 6 stories. We started it. But we did export a lot of expertise, engineers and stuff to the colonies, to America, to the United States of America eventually. And it seems that that expertise flowed through to New York to an extreme level, because you guys have amazingly tall buildings. Like, I look around when I've been in Manhattan and look up and just get like such a fright. It is so tall here in New York, it is crazy. And for somebody like me who's afraid of heights, it's a wee bit daunting. Like, I'm not gonna lie, for me 4 or 5 stories is like quite enough, but like buildings here 30 stories is not even considered high. But you know what, I've slowly got used to it. I've been up to some high buildings here and I'm quite enjoying it. I still don't like looking down. I always thought Scotland is a beautiful country because of our nature, because of our hills, because of our heather and beaches and all that kind of stuff. But here in New York, you have got this man-made beauty, and the buildings, it is different. Every single time you look at it, it is gloriously beautiful. It sparkles like a diamond. This is our last day here in New York, by the way. We're travelling home to Scotland tonight. But last night we went for a walk to Dumbo, down under the Manhattan-Brooklyn overpass. Is that right? Anyway, Dumbo, and then the Brooklyn Bridge Park as well. The view of Manhattan is unbelievable. We sat there for like an hour and a half and just watched the sunset. disappear. New York is so beautiful, and as a Scottish person who's used to natural beauty, to actually be wowed by something man-made is quite strange, but listen, it is unbelievable. New York is so beautiful. Okay, another thing, and I think this is probably the most important point about my reaction to New York. People here always tell me that New Yorkers are not friendly, especially New Yorkers. New Yorkers tell me that New Yorkers aren't friendly. And like, that's just not been my experiences. In fact, of all the big cities I've been to in the world, New Yorkers have been some of the nicest people I've ever had the pleasure to meet. I'll never forget this. The first day that we came to New York, we got the air train from JFK, the main airport. We were looking at the map at Jamaica Station of all the metros, probably looking a bit confused, and we had 4 suitcases. This guy came up to us in a very genuine manner and said, listen, you guys look lost, can I help you? And he took 15 minutes out of his busy day. New Yorkers are busy people. He took 15 minutes out of his day, took our bags for us, took us exactly to the line that we needed to get to our accommodation for the night. He didn't need to do that, and I'm telling you what, I've never seen anything like that in London. New Yorkers are so friendly. I remember I was on a bus one day coming across town. It was a really busy bus, people were standing, and it was really, really hot in the city. I had a terrible migraine headache, and I was like holding my head like this on the bus. And then all these people were like, are you alright, can we help you? And then all of a sudden I had this big conversation with a group of about 10 people all on the bus who wanted to help. Then they wanted to know where I was from. Then they wanted to know what I was doing in New York. And then all of a sudden I had all these new friends telling me what I should be doing in New York, how I should get better, trying to give me treatments and all that. And I just remember thinking to myself, if you were in London, your head could be hanging off, right? Your head could literally be hanging off and people wouldn't even look at you. In New York, I just held my head like that, and people were concerned for my welfare. People from all different backgrounds, from all different countries, from all different places, all together in the same place. And like, I think that just mix is something really beautiful and special that I've not seen anywhere else in the world quite like it. And like, this has happened time and time again. I've got stories and stories and stories of acts of kindness, acts of random kindness here in New York City, of people just being really, really nice and genuine. That is my big takeaway. People say New Yorkers are rude, but in my opinion, in my experience, in my reaction, they're absolutely not. They're some of the friendliest people I've had the pleasure to meet. I love New Yorkers, and I love New York. Now to something a little bit weird though, right? Some observation I think is weird is the way that you guys organise your food shopping. In the UK in general, in London and Edinburgh, doesn't matter where, we have such a strong variety of huge supermarket chains. We've got like 5 or 6, I think, maybe more, supermarket chains. Big ones, and you can find them on just about every street, every single one. And like, you've got a choice. You could go to the cheap budget supermarket, you could go to the more expensive ones that have like very like kind of posh food and stuff, and then everything in between that. You've got such a range of really chain supermarkets, and it doesn't matter where you are in the UK, you've always got these options and you know what you're going to get from these supermarkets. Here in New York I find it's slightly different. Like, okay, there are some big chain supermarkets, but they tend to be out of town a little bit, like Walmart and stuff, really far out of the city. In New York City, I think you guys just don't have supermarkets like we do. You don't have the same variety, same choice. I do find that you guys have more independent supermarket. And I guess what I'm saying is, this isn't necessarily a bad or a good thing. It's just different for me, and something that's unique to New York, I guess, that you guys seem to have much more independent corner shops. Are they called bodegas? Is that what you call them? Anyway, you have a lot of supermarkets, small ones on corners, that I quite like actually. I like that style, because each one's really, really different from each other, and yeah, it's just interesting. Neighbourhood bodegas. And then you have the delis, right? Delis, they do exist in the UK, but it's not something that we are massive about. The delis here in New York are so good. Such a variety of like local foods, and each one has their specialities. I love that about New York. The delis here are amazing. I have been here 5 times, and 5 times I have been shocked by the temperatures here in New York. I'm gonna start having to unbutton myself here. This is nuts. This is like a thick tartan plaid shirt. I'm dying here, guys, like sweat's just dripping off me. Hola! It's so hot that I'm splashing artesian Fiji water all over my face. It's cost about $10 per sip. We were here last September and into October, and I got sick twice. I got heat stroke twice in September, October because of the intense heat in New York. I have yet to have a cool day here in New York, and all the times I've been here I've yet to have a cool day. And right now it is the 10th of October 2018. It should be cold right now in Scotland. It's blowing a gale, it's raining, and it is freezing cold. It's like 10 degrees Celsius. New York gets a lot colder than Scotland does, believe it or not. This is something I'm shocked about, but I have yet to feel that cold. You see it on the news every year, the kind of intense cold that you guys have in the middle of winter. This is already the middle of October. It's only like, what, a month or two away until the middle of winter. So where is the cold? Right now it's 23 degrees Celsius. I'm wearing a t-shirt and I should be wearing shorts as well because it's hot. This whole trip during New York Comic Con here in New York, I have been roasting hot. So I find that really weird to adjust to. I have yet to experience cool weather here in New York, let alone cold. So is it a myth? Does New York ever get cold? I've been here in June, which is obviously going to be hot. I've been here in October, I've been here in August, and I'm here in October yet again, and it is hot. Anyway guys, listen, my main reaction to New York is that I absolutely love it here. We arrived at the station here the other night, having flown from Edinburgh 7 hours. I was exhausted, but I came into New York City, came into Times Square, and I immediately felt the energy. I felt alive. I got adrenaline. There is a unique energy about here that I absolutely love, and you know what? I think I would like to live here. One day, I would like to have the experience of living in New York City, and I hope it happens. Well, listen guys, I'd like to give a huge shout out to the Look Hotel here in Red Hook in Brooklyn. Red Hook is an awesome neighbourhood here in Brooklyn that I've only just discovered on this trip, and that's thanks to the guys at the Look Hotel here in Brooklyn. The hotel actually has its own blog which is dedicated to things to do in New York, things to do in Brooklyn, and it keeps you updated with what's going on here. So even if you're not staying in Brooklyn, it's handy to follow them because they have some top-notch information about staying in New York. I'm going to do a series of travel videos on my other YouTube channel, my Adventure Everything channel. The link to that channel is down below. Please go and follow that and subscribe to it because the New York vlogs are going to be there and they're going to be amazing, and I'm really excited to be showing you more about Red Hook and Brooklyn through those vlogs. You're going to see them really soon. But I guess that's it for New York this time. I'm already planning my trips back. Hopefully I can come back really soon because I do love it here. Guys, I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next adventure, I hope you have a good night, morning, evening, afternoon, or whatever time of day it is wherever you are in the world. Take care.